Money buys many things, but peace is never on the receipt. The world sells noise, it sells distraction, it sells endless upgrades, but the rarest wealth is the wealth of calm. And yet, most people spend fortunes chasing what could be free. Imagine a sprawling market just before dusk. Lanterns sway in the warm breeze, merchants shout their final bargains, and the scent of spice and roasted bread dances through the air. Two travelers arrive. The first carries a pouch so heavy it leaves a mark on his belt. Gold sings when he unties it. He buys trinkets that glitter, sweets that vanish in a bite, music that drowns his own thoughts. For a moment, the noise feels like life itself. But when the lanterns dim and the crowd thins, his heart beats louder than the drums. His coins are gone, his mind restless. The second traveler enters with a small purse and a quiet step. He chooses a warm cloak for the evening chill, a humble bowl of stew, a room tucked behind a garden. Night comes, and he sleeps beneath a gentle moon, light in spirit, heavy with peace. Wealth is never the weight of the pouch. It is the depth of the sleep, the illusion of spending. Most people chase happiness in what shines: a louder car, a bigger house, a wristwatch that catches every eye. Yet these purchases often buy attention, not contentment. They whisper promises of status, but deliver only a moment of applause. Peace, once lost, is the costliest thing to buy back. Coins are loud when they fall, but silence is the sound of true wealth. The fisherman and the grand vessel. There was once a fisherman who lived by a small sheltered cove. His boat was modest, just wide enough for his nets, just sturdy enough for the gentle tides. Each dawn he set out as the sun brushed gold across the water, and each afternoon he returned with enough fish to feed his family and share with neighbors. His life was simple, and in that simplicity he found a quiet joy. But one summer, wealthy traders began to visit the village. They arrived in magnificent ships, painted sails, polished decks, crews that shouted with energy. People gathered on the shore to admire them. The fisherman watched too, and a thought began to whisper, "If I owned a vessel like that, everyone would know my name. I would be important." So he saved every coin, worked longer hours, borrowed what he could not earn. At last, he traded his faithful little boat for a grand vessel, sleek, fast, gleaming with brass. For a while, he felt proud as villagers pointed and murmured his name. But the bigger boat demanded bigger things. Its sails tore in sudden squalls. Its hull needed costly tar and endless repairs. The deeper waters it required were rougher and far from home. Storms struck harder, and when the sea grew angry, fear replaced the quiet he once knew. Season by season, his savings drained like water through a cracked jar. Nights that once ended with laughter by a fire now stretched into restless calculations of debts and repairs. He began to miss the gentle rhythm of his old days, the sound of oars in calm water, the soft splash of fish beneath a pink dawn. One morning, exhausted, he stood on the deck of his grand vessel and finally understood. What he had purchased was not freedom, but noise. The admiration of others had cost him the peace he once owned for free. Many of us trade the small, steady boat of contentment for something grand and glittering, a house beyond our means, a lifestyle built for applause. But bigger isn't always better. True wealth is not the size of the ship, but the calm of the voyage. What money cannot buy. Money can buy medicine, but not health. A house, but not a home. Tickets, but not wonder, company, but not friendship. The greatest danger is not in spending, but in forgetting these limits. Gold can build walls, but only kindness builds a heart. The quiet currency. Long ago, in a quiet valley, there lived an orchard keeper named Elior. His trees were his pride, rows of apple and pear that shaded the earth and sweetened the air each spring. Years of careful pruning and patient watering had given him baskets of fruit and a steady living. One autumn, word spread that a group of nobles would visit the valley. The whole village buzzed, an opportunity for recognition, perhaps even reward. Elior felt the stir of ambition. His savings sat heavy in a small chest, enough to buy fresh saplings for next season, maybe even expand the orchard. But the villagers whispered, "This is your moment. Host a banquet. Show the nobles your success." He imagined their fine clothes rustling beneath lantern light, imagined their praise ringing through the hills. The thought of applause glimmered brighter than the quiet work of planting. So Elior chose the banquet. He emptied his chest of coins. He bought rare spices and wine, hired musicians, hung silken banners between the trees. The night was splendid. Laughter echoed through the orchard. Music floated into the stars. The nobles toasted his generosity, and for a few hours he felt like a king. But when winter arrived, the ground lay bare. No new trees had been planted, no roots had taken hold. When spring came, the harvest was thin. By the next year, thinner still. His savings were gone, and the applause that once filled the night faded into memory. A different season. Years passed before Elior began again. This time there were no nobles to impress, no crowds to cheer. He worked quietly, planting one sapling at a time. Neighbors teased him for his slow return. Why bother with such tiny shoots? You'll be old before they bear fruit. But he kept digging, watering, pruning. Season by season, the young trees strengthened, blossoms opened, bees returned, and eventually the valley filled once more with shade and sweetness, richer and more abundant than before. When travelers asked the secret of his renewed success, Elior simply smiled and said, "Banquets fade overnight. A tree planted in patience feeds generations." We all face Elior's choice. Do we spend today's resources for applause that dies with the evening? Or do we plant for tomorrow, investing time, money, and habits that will nourish us long after the crowd is gone? True wealth is not in the banquet's noise, but in the quiet orchard that endures, the currency of calm. To spend wisely is to ask, does this water my roots, or only decorate my branches? Peace is purchased in moments that money can't truly price. A dawn walk, when the world is still a meal shared without hurry. A book that feeds the mind, a gift that grows love, not envy. Every coin you spend is a vote for calm or for chaos. Practical habits for calm. Wealth, 1. Value over vanity. Pause before every purchase. Will this bring me peace next month or just noise today? 2. Invest in memories, not things. Choose a picnic with loved ones over another gadget. Choose a journey into nature over a louder toy. 3. Simplify to amplify. The less you carry, the lighter your soul. Clear a drawer. Cancel an unnecessary subscription. Space itself becomes wealth. Optional reflection, exercise. Take a single day this week and spend only on what nourishes you. Note what you miss and what you don't. The market of life will always tempt you. Voices will call, lights will glitter, envy will whisper that more is better. But remember the two travelers, one left with noise and nothing, the other left with little, yet had everything. Spend not to impress, Spend not to escape. Spend to nourish the calm within. For the true currency of wealth is peace. If this wisdom brings you calm, let sage walk beside you. Subscribe for weekly truths, because real wealth is not the coins we carry, but the peace we plant.